the disconnectedness between the people, because there's empties no human, right, or no Americans on the street at all, and are they inside their house? Why is this photographer pretend to be someone viewing outside, uh, just like peeping outside of the window of the curtain closed? Isn't it something that's pretty creepy, or is it a mood? Is it a sentiment that Robert Frank is trying to deliver, or is trying to disseminate through this photograph, to suggest? Or another photographer, Diane Arbus, some kind of sentiments that might be similar to Robert Frank's, because it's also about the relation in between, the distance between different people. Looking at the camera, looking outside, no eye contact at all in between the subjects, the people in the photograph, and they look quite of I don't care, aloof or rigid, serious, not friendly. Doesn't seem like very friendly. Well, they may be friendly people, but it's just the way Diane Arbus is trying to create the mood that Diane Arbus is trying to create. Also about relation, because it's about family relationship, right? The parents, right, came to this Jewish giant's house to pay a visit to him. But try to visualize, close your eyes if at this moment, if you can close your eyes and imagine you are living in a house, and then your parents is coming over to visit you. What would be the scene looking like? How would they pose? How would they interact with you? Would they be happy, asking you all kinds of questions, trying to get your latest update? Or be like, if you can open your eyes right now and be like, these two parents, they are again in a very rigid pose. Looks like they're surprised. What is that connection between the family members? This giant, right, towering figure on the left, and the parents, that seems like they don't know him. Seems like they're embarrassed. Hands in the pocket, not embracing, not trying to welcome. And there's this distance. Imagine if you were the giant in this house, right? What kind of relation might you have with your parents? A good one, a close one, or pretty aloof, pretty disconnected one? In an enclosed space, you see all the curtains are drawn. That kind of America. And this is Eddie Caramel's poem for Diane Arbus. If I can read it. A long time ago I had a real strange pal, a truly strange and wonderful gal, in a world that's growing quickly and seems to be in some kind of weird stir. Here was a marvelous gal, a photographer, who would suddenly open up her little eyes and mutter, and quickly snap her camera shutter. Diane Arbus is now not with us anymore. And it's a tragedy that suddenly we have faced a closing door of a wonderful girl, a talented one, affectionately known as a lovely dear old son of a gun, Diane Arbus. The way he's trying to capture it, and again, like this one, the mother with the clinging to some kind of scary and gruesome sentiments seems to be embedded into this photograph with Diane Arbus's magic hand. Whatever her subject, she favored direct and head-on poses like this little baby right here that often mimicked the style of the family snapshot. Just like this mother holding her child in New Jersey. And one of the most alienated images of motherhood in the history of visual art. What's the connection between this boy and the mother? Right? It's these moments Diane Arbus is addicted to capture, to show this alienated society. This is a quote from Diane Arbus. This photograph, I want to leave it to yourself to see what's alienated right here, right? The mother, supposedly, this is relaxing in this family lawn. On their lawn, the family relaxing, but are they really relaxing? Are they really connecting? They are, again, compartmentalized in their, occupying their own space, doing their own drink. I'm doing my own contemplation. He's a little upset, worrying about his own thing, and the child in the back, just playing. Everybody's minding their own business. What draws your attention in this photograph? In this one of Diane Arbus's most famous photographs? Would you say it's a facial expression or the hand, the awkward position of the hand and the grenade, the toy grenade that's in his hand? The facial expression, first of all, is almost maniacal, especially for a child to have that facial expression is haunting. For Diane Arbus, right? To trying to haunt you, and it carries at this hand this symbol, right? This facial expression, and then this hand carries a ambiguous and unsettling tension. When we consider that it was taken during the Vietnam War and shortly after the failed CIA-led invasion of Cuba, America is still in wars. Known as and do you agree that Arbus's aim in this photograph is not to reform life, but to know it, to understand life, to understand the cruel part, the war, the violence in life, and that violence in Vietnam, post World War II, everybody's desperate, and America again is in another war again. The desperation, how this sense of danger affect the next generation. She's taken many photographs and then published this one. Okay, moving on faster. Gary Winogrand, New York City, laughing, mannequin in the bag. In this, we're situated in this mechanical, in the era of mechanical reproduction. Everything is produced, everything is in the market, and this lady again laughing she thinks, right? She may think, or she appears to be enjoying her life. Maybe it's a Friday afternoon, ice cream, consumerism, right? So, something related to consumerism in big city, New York. But that kind of laughing is really it's really unsettling to the viewer. And just like Diane Arbus's, right? Gary Winograd and Robert Frank also, they use photograph as a compliment. As a commentary to the society. So they choose. They are highly selective of the view, of the specific view that they want to show the audience and change how the general public think about the society. In this case, the dark side, how they can think or reveal to them the dark side of New York. The empty and lack of humanity in the mannequin, of course, because it's not human, but also in this lady. This is another photograph, very famous by Gary Winogrand. Touching upon the narrative, the subject of the topic of racism. Celebrity looks like celebrity couple, but one is black, one is white, carrying chimpanzee, just like a child walking in Central Park, New York. It's a spectacle for the public, but the unsettling scene, right? Because to some people, this is very unsettling at the time. Again, racial segregation, wars going on. It challenges a lot of viewers' perception. Winogrand, you can say he's just capturing a spectacle at the time, a celebrity walking on the street with chimpanzees in their arms, just like their kids. But Winogrand's not simply reacting to this strange moment, but also probably to racial tension sweeping the country at the height of the civil rights movement in 1967. Gary Winogrand. Moving on. Okay, on to Lee Freelander. And very interesting. You're gonna we find this in this photograph again. The title Albuquerque, using the city or a place, the name of a place, as the title of the photograph. So photographers in this lecture today, they seems to all favor to travel around the United States and use a new way. A way that's unheard of to us, to our lecture at least, to document the United States again in a new way. And you see in this photograph, again, no people in the photograph, and doesn't seem to have any emphasis, no focus, just a dog again being cut in half. It's empty and doesn't have much subject, and it's not a good photograph, is it? What is the focus of the photograph? There's no narrative, seems like. Well, maybe this is when art history comes in, right? When art historian will ask, what is the emphasis in formal quality? The line, the shape, the color, all those things. Well, I think that the emphasis in formal quality is much easier to answer. That is the lines. Lines, horizontal lines, vertical lines, horizontal and perpendicular to each other, interwoven with each other. That creates almost like a gridlock, almost like some kind of grid patterns of America, but there's no people in it. All these lines crossing each other, the aloofness again, that everything seems to be connected, but the people, the humanity is gone. It's all machine, everything the human built, but they don't get to be used. That kind of the wasteland, almost like the buildings, the emptiness, The emptiness is not so much on the street. Yes, the street is empty, but it's inside of the inner feeling of people, the emptiness that people feel. Post-war trends, post-war conditions. Lee Freelander continue to. This is, very special self-portrait ever taken, right? Because it's a shadow that Lee Freelander is trying to take a self-portrait of but there's actually his shadow, a cast on the back of a woman wearing mink, well dressed up in downtown, maybe New York. Lee Freelander is actually, it's a self-portrait of himself that in someone else's back, you can see yourself, but also to remind people that for every photograph, there is someone behind it. The photographer, just like Freelander in this photograph, the photograph is outside of a frame, but in front of the frame, controlling the frame, deciding, dictating what to be included in this frame, in this photograph. The creepy that people looking at people. Last topic would be the family of man. Excuse me. This is a very interesting exhibition because it's after the World War, and Evert Steichen, the organizer, the famous photographer that we talked about, collected all these hundreds of photographs that supposed to reveal to show humanity, keywords like humanity, love, things like that. Love, birth, death, war, the major topics that they think can if presented well, exhibited in play in around across the world, will have positive effect, can bring people hope. And this is the first gallery in that family of man in 1955. For example, Dorothy Lang and artists, photographers that I've mentioned above, their works all been included. Most of their works were included into this event, in this exhibition, widely and well received. But also this exhibition raises a concern that the United States is using its superpower and this exhibition to force onto other countries, because it travels all around the world, to force this values, what's supposed to be shared values, right? This capitalism, sheer value of capitalism, first onto its people inside the United States, and then when it traveled around the world, forced the same values onto other people in across the world, and use the photography as a tool to colonize the world with these values, to colonize their mind. Because you have family group portraits of indigenous people at different other places, seniors, family portraits. This photo, for example, this photograph by Wayne Miller captured the delivery of his son, David Miller. Birth. Family of man, supposed to be carrying the value that the whole humanity want to share. Gary Winogrand photograph, love, passion being one of them, family, motherhood being one of the topics. And it also went on to Life magazine, the biggest magazine, the most circulated magazine in the United States at the time, had a huge influence. And very lastly, the timeline for street photography, because we started from pictorialism. Photography, photograph, they don't know if they can be a form of art, so they try to be submissive to all standards, to all rules created by painting or sculptures. And then Paul Strand and then other photographers, they created new ways, more pure way of documenting the world, like Aaron Siskin, zooming in, wide shots, different kind of shots, different topics, to expand the potential of photography. And it's the street photography movement really lasted for a long time, but this process really established photography as an independent art form in itself and by itself. You don't have to paint. You don't have to take photograph like you are doing painting. It has its own rules because photography does artistic expression differently. It's documentary, but it's beyond documentary.